I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Take 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Take 10. Sports Take 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Qualified, professional, and compassionate doctors talking real solutions to real health problems.
Almost 1/3 of the world's population is overweight. Yes, this is a very sensitive issue, and that's why we are pleased to host a celebrated nutritionist in Uganda, Dr. Paul Kasenene, to tell us exactly how you can lose those excessive kilos on your body. You're most welcome to the show, Dr. Kasenene.
Thank you, Dr. Darius.
Yes, so let's just dig straight into this discussion. Today I want to focus on weight. You know, it's such a big issue. Everyone is concerned about their weight. Throughout the year, we gain kilos. We're seeing it's not going down. People are trying to go to the gym. It's not working. So why exactly do people gain weight? Why is it people increase weight to the point that it becomes concerning?
So basically, I mean, people who are gaining weight in essence, are basically storing a lot of energy on their body, and this basically is because of consuming, and for a large part, a diet that is higher in calories than you're able to spend. Okay. And what people need to understand is when we eat food, we get energy, and this energy is in the form of calories. And these calories are used for our daily uses, our daily energy requirements. But if we don't use all these calories, then the body starts to store up some of these extra calories as fat. Okay. And that's why we start to see people gaining weight.
So it is a natural that whenever we eat food, all that is energy taken in.
Yes, so basically when we look at today's society, what we realize is that food is abundant. We have an abundance of high energy foods, but also people are not as active as they used to be. And so this combination of people being less active, more sedentary, and having access to a lot of food is actually contributing to a large part to weight gain. But also, we also see that there are also certain things that are happening in our bodies, in our health, that are also contributing to people gaining weight. And so I think it's important that people need to understand why they gain weight and actually what they can do sustainably to lose the weight and keep it off. Okay. Because like I'm sure most people will say, losing weight sometimes is not always the biggest thing. It's actually how you lose the weight and learn to keep it off.
Okay. So, so you said what's most important is how people lose the weight. not just about losing weight. Did I get you right there?
Okay, so there are many ways people can actually lose weight. There are many plans out there, weight loss programs that help people to lose weight. But the question is, are they sustainable? Because once people stop the programs they are on, they find that very quickly they are getting the weight back on. So what people need to understand is, first of all, why did I gain weight? And if you understand that, then you understand how can I lose weight and keep it off sustainably. So the weight loss program or method is important, but more importantly, how do I keep it off? That's what we should be focusing.
So why do people gain weight? It's a bit of a weird question, but I know most people ask themselves, why am I always gaining weight? They do not eat fried foods, they do not eat chips, chicken, but they're still gaining weight. So what is the problem there?
So I think we need to appreciate that it's what you eat that is the biggest challenge, and not necessarily how much you eat. Because some people are eating small portions and they are still not losing weight. Now, what we need to understand is that a lot of our diets today are predominantly filled with energy-rich foods, carbohydrate-rich foods. A large quantity is also made of other energy-rich foods like animal foods. And we have people eating much less quantities of vegetables, of fruits, of legumes, things that actually lead to a smaller body and a healthier body. If you ask anybody who is gaining weight and they take a very honest assessment of what they eat, usually you will find that they are not necessarily eating too much food, but they're eating a large quantity of foods that are either high in carbohydrate, highly processed, high in sugar, and these are the things that are making people gain weight. We also have to help people to appreciate that convenience of the modern world, okay, makes it such that the food that is easily available to you, I mean simple things like chapati, like bread, like cake, like soda, that somebody would easily just snack on or eat, things like cornflakes that you have in the morning. These are high energy foods. And so people need to start thinking, am I balancing the proportion of foods on my plate well? And this also requires that people start to think more about health and weight and not just pleasure. Because I know for sure that many people are concerned that the things that they think will make them lose weight are not necessarily the most enjoyable. But at the end of the day, we have to put our health first. And we have to ask ourselves, am I really eating the right way? So I really want to emphasize that if people learn to eat right, they don't necessarily have to eat less. But we just have to incorporate.
Eat right.
Yes.
All right. So you are running a nutrition program that helps people to lose weight. Could you tell us more about how you arrived at that? What inspired you to start this nutrition program?
So we have a program, it's called Achieve Your Perfect Weight, and it's really aimed at helping anybody learn how to lose weight without eating less, and more importantly, learn how to keep it off for life.
That is the sustainable weight loss.
Yes.
Okay.
So I came to this conclusion first through a personal journey. So basically, when I finished medical school, I was working in HIV research, and I was sort of doing a busy job. And what I found was I quickly began to gain weight. And I didn't feel at the time that I was eating anything out of the ordinary. I was just eating like most people do. And of course, I got married along the way. And, you know, of course, you have more access to food. So I began to gain weight. Then I came across a doctor in the United States called Joel Fuhrman, who gave me some more insights about food and how we should combine these. And so I made changes to my diet first. And over a period of about maybe 1 year, I lost about 15 kilos. And I honestly wasn't trying to lose weight. I wasn't actually trying to go on a weight loss program. I was really just trying to eat better. But then I realized that by simply changing the proportion of the foods on my plate, by incorporating more fruit and vegetables, and cutting out some of the refined things like sugar and a lot of the milk products and things like chapati and cake, I was able to shed a significant amount of weight. That made me very curious because I realized it wasn't as complicated as it looked. And so I then, through over the years studying of the nutrition process, I realized that we can actually help people to lose weight without eating less. So we developed a program. It runs for 6 to 10 weeks. It's focusing mainly on reducing certain foods in the diet and increasing more foods in the diet. And it's tailored for each person because every person is different. Everybody has their own challenges. And we do realize that many people will actually have unique obstacles, things that will make them lose weight much slower, even when they are following what you want them to do. But it's a very scientific program, and it's really, most importantly, focusing on helping people to become healthy, not just necessarily losing weight. Because when you eat to be healthy, weight loss is just a natural side effect, if I should say.
Okay, and the name of this clinic is a wellness clinic located in Bugolobi. So we'll be very curious to know what exactly goes in this clinic, how the patients undergo this weight reduction program. So sometime in the show, I'm going to take you to a live studio demonstration of the types of foods that are very healthy that will help you lose weight, as well as interaction with some of Mr. Kasenene's clients who have experienced weight reduction under this program. So we'll be very, very interested in knowing more about this. So we shall, after the break, shall come back to learn more about nutrition, healthy foods. What food should you be eating and what food should you be avoiding? We are in studio with our celebrated nutrition expert, Dr. Kasenene Paul. Send in your questions and comments on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter. We'll see you shortly after the break.
You are watching the DOCtalk show.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
You are watching the DOCtalk show.
Welcome back. With me in studio is our celebrated nutritionist, Dr. Paul Kasenene, to tell us more about how to lose excessive weight. As you all know, obesity and overweight is a growing concern around the world, with more than about 2 billion people worldwide suffering from the condition of being overweight and obese. So, Dr. Paul Kasenene, in your career, you have majored in nutrition and weight reduction. People will be curious to know, first of all, what is the ideal weight for an individual? Maybe we'll start from there.
Okay, so there's two ways to look at this. There's something we call the body mass index, which is a ratio of your weight to your height. And the body mass index really is about trying to know how much weight should your skeleton hold, because it looks at what's your height and your skeleton frame and how much weight should your skeleton hold. Now, the normal body mass index, I'll just specify, is a number between 18 to 25. But the way you arrive at that is by getting your weight in kilograms, and then you divide that by your height in meters squared. So that means you get your weight in kilograms, divide it by your height in meters, and then divide by your height in meters again.
So what does this BMI tell us, the one of 18 to 25?
So the BMI of 18 to 25 is the normal range. Now, on the flip side, if you want to know what your healthy weight range is, okay, you get your height in meters. For example, my height in meters is 1.73 centimeters, okay? I multiply that by 1.73 again, and then I multiply it by the two ranges. So I'll first multiply it by 18, and then I'll multiply it by 25. So that will give you a healthy weight range. So for example, 1.73 times 1.73 times 18.
Which is the lowest?
The low, yes. Okay. That will be about 55 for me.
So that means 55 should be your least?
Yes, that's the lower healthy range. Okay. And then 1.73 times 1.73 times 25 will give you the maximum range. And for me, that's about 73, 74 kilos. So my healthy weight range would be between 55 to about 74 kilograms. Okay. And so everybody can calculate their BMI or their healthy weight range using this. So it requires that somebody should know their height, okay? However, I must say that the height has limitations, especially for Africans, because not every one of us is tall. And so if you look at your weight only based by BMI, you find that your healthy weight range is usually very small. And so you find that it's, to achieve the healthy weight range, sometimes you find that you'll be very small. So what we think is important is not to just focus on the BMI, but to go further and find out what percentage of your body weight is fat and what percentage is muscle. So usually for a man, the healthy body fat percentage range is 10 to 20%, generally.
The healthy
body fat percentage.
Body fat percentage,
yes,
is 10 to 20.
For a man, yes. And for a lady, it's usually between 20 to 35%.
Why is it higher for the ladies than the men?
It's mainly because of ladies have the extra privilege of having children. And so the body always needs a bit of extra fat as a cushion, just in case during pregnancy you have a bit of food shortages, the body will have that extra cushion. Okay. So the ladies actually are allowed a larger percentage of fat and still considered normal. So when somebody checks their weight, it should not only be a case of having a normal BMI. It should also be, are you having the right body fat percentage and body muscle percentage?
So in that note, it's possible to have a normal BMI between the 18 to 25, but when your fat levels are too high.
Yes, it is. We've seen very often people who have a normal body mass index, a normal weight according to BMI, but still have a higher fat percentage. And such a person is technically overweight.
So how do they measure this excessive fat? Because we can't calculate it now.
Yeah, so there's a body composition scale that somebody can actually get on, and it can actually measure this for you. But I also wanted to say that on the flip side, some people who may be slightly overweight according to the body mass index scale, if they have the right percentage of body fat, then technically they are okay. So it's important to look at your weight in terms of your body mass index, but also in terms of your body fat percentage.
Many people are concerned that they fail to lose weight. They fail to get rid of that extra fat. Let's say their BMI is like 29, 30, 35. What causes people to, to fail to lose weight?
So the most prevalent thing we see is that people are not eating right, okay? But for those who are eating right, there are some real, what we call hidden obstacles. And I'm just going to mention a few of them.
Maybe before we go to those obstacles, what do you mean by not eating right? What is that?
So like I mentioned earlier, if you're eating boiled food, you may think that you're eating healthy. But if you're eating a large percentage of matoke and potatoes and pumpkins and yams on your plate, even if it's boiled, you're going to get more calories than you need. So sometimes you think you're eating right, but actually you're getting too many calories, even if the food is not necessarily prepared in an unhealthy way. So sometimes it's just getting the proportions of food correct on your plate, and then you'll be able to start to see the weight loss.
So even if someone doesn't eat the fast foods, the cakes and what, they're eating food from their garden, and they think this is a good enough amount to make them satisfied, even that will make them gain weight?
Yes, because the body should actually ideally get no more than a quarter, 25% of its energy needs from carbohydrate-rich foods. Most should be from non-starchy vegetables, low-calorie foods like fruits and vegetables, and legumes and seeds. So if you're eating healthy food, but the wrong proportions, yes, you can actually still gain weight, even though you think you're eating healthy food.
And what would be the right proportion now of the healthy food?
So generally, 50% of the plate ideally should be vegetables and or fruit. You don't always have to mix them, but 50% should be vegetable. We're talking about cabbage, sukuma wiki, tomatoes, eggplants, things like that. A quarter of your plate should be the energy-rich carbohydrate foods, like pumpkin, sweet potatoes, matoke, yams, potatoes. And then a quarter of your plate should be what we call the sauce, mostly legumes like beans or peas or groundnuts.
Those are the proteins?
Yes. And sometimes a little bit of animal foods, local chicken and fish. So once you get the proportion right, then you find that you will be more likely to maintain a healthy weight.
So it means someone can, there are certain myths around nutrition. People say you shouldn't eat fats. People say you shouldn't eat red meat. So in your opinion, are those healthy foods?
So animal foods are not unhealthy. That's what we should. They are not unhealthy. However, the human being does not need more than 10% of their food from animal foods. Okay?
They don't need more than
10%.
To mean what?
So
they shouldn't eat a lot of the animal food.
Yes, our human beings, we are primates. Our digestive systems are primed for plants. And so if you look at the digestive system, it's long and coiled. And that means food takes between 24 to 72 hours from when you eat it until the residues come out. This is very important because with that long transit time, we find that animal foods go bad after 8 to 12 hours. And in 8 to 12 hours, food is always still within our digestive system, especially in our colon. So we are finding that animal foods are not the best foods for human beings. That said, we still can benefit from some animal foods. But 10% of the diet, in my opinion, is no more than 2 to 3 times a week. And even when you want to eat animal foods, just to answer your question, I would say let's focus not on red or white, but how healthy the animal is. And so if you eat red meat like goat, people may say that's unhealthy, but you'd rather eat goat than eat a broiler chicken that has been caged and fed feeds that are high in antibiotics and growth hormones. And so it's not just about red or white, it's how healthy is the animal. But at the end of the day, only 10% of your diet. And in all honesty, the fat in animal foods is not going to be a problem to you if the animal is reared naturally and if it's only 10% of your diet.
So now, but just quickly, as you summarize, what, in your experience, what are the common causes of failure to lose weight, apart from eating badly?
So non-medically, the first is trying to lose weight through exercise only without diet. Many people are exercising, but they don't change their diet, and they think that I can lose weight because I've exercised harder. Exercise sometimes can even make you gain weight even when you eat right, because you build muscle. So the first obstacle is I'm exercising, but I'm not changing my diet. The second thing is you're not drinking enough water. Your body needs hydration, at least 2 to 3 liters a day, depending on your size. People who are not getting enough water struggle with weight loss. The third thing is poor sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, if you sleep only 4 to 5 hours, maybe 5 to 6 hours, you're going to be more hungry and you're going to require more energy than somebody who sleeps 7 to 8 hours.
So people should sleep more?
Yes. If you don't sleep enough, you need to eat more to stay alert. And then medically, there are things like the first I'll say is a thyroid problem. Everybody should actually see a doctor and should have an evaluation. Hypothyroidism is a condition where your thyroid slows down. The thyroid controls energy. So if you have, yes. So if you have a slow thyroid, you will gain weight, even if you are eating right. The other thing is hormonal imbalances. If you have a hormonal imbalance, you will sometimes struggle. And that's why it's important, if you're failing to lose weight, go and see a doctor, go and see somebody who can guide you and evaluate these things. This ties in very much with contraception, or hormonal contraception. Yes, family planning. Because some of these family plannings are based on hormones, and these hormones can actually make you gain weight, if not fail to lose weight. A few other things, we won't go into much detail. The first of the others is vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D comes from the sun, but vitamin D deficiency can really be an obstacle to weight loss. So everybody on a weight loss program should have vitamin D tested. What I'm going to say is that there are many, many other obstacles, medications like high blood pressure medications, steroids if you have asthma. Everybody should go and see somebody, a nutritionist or a nutrition-informed doctor, who can evaluate these. And I'll also say that this is what we do in our weight loss programs. We don't just give generalized plans. We evaluate each person and see if they have any real obstacles that they need to address.
Okay, words of wisdom for our nutritionist, Dr. Paul Kasenene. We'll be back shortly after the break to talk more about weight loss and nutrition. We'll take you to our live studio to show you the types of foods you should be eating, as well as to interact with some of the patients who have benefited from our weight reduction program. Don't go away, stay tuned.
You are watching the DOCtalk Show.
Owekitenesa Minister wabatu amune minyeto Dr. Balamu barugara atenye hamurude wakani na kunga bantu bombukama bwabunyero kitala kingdom nebichweke bihereireho okwejo kumweteranizaho hakebiro byokwezi 20 okwezi kwa irumbi kweto kwa mwenda omwaka guno obone tutangiro Owekitenesa muno president wihangaliya Uganda hamuna mama General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. n'amasazo y'amasindi leka tweteranize tulwanise kandi tunage hansi omunyanzigwa gw'obunaku nituhura okuhaburwa n'omuranga kuluga ali president akirekyo alita n'abebembezi kuluga mbunyoro abantu abanyakwina entekereza yabo habwabu kyeto opinion leaders abebembezi b'amadini ab'obukama abasuubuzi hamwe n'okwetegereza emirimu ekolwa habyomeko gali booleka ebya 5-star hotel mu rubuga masindi niko bwiri bwe rubagyo ayita n'abeminyeto ahule kuluga halibo haralere kyona emiti ha golf course obwe kino tukifundikire n'omuziki kaihamataka hamwe n'ebikucamura bingi bino byona biteerewomu esente Balam Sounds hamwe na Radio 7 eirakadde abagikulu bakabalega.
You are watching the DOCtalk show.
Losing weight can be a challenge to many people. In studio with us is a lady who has had her own struggles with losing weight. And Dr. Kasenene is going to take her through a program that will help her lose weight. Her name is Mercy Masinguzi. You're welcome to the show, Miss Mercy.
Glad to be here.
Okay, so briefly, could you tell the people what your journey has been with weight?
Mercy, I'm a pharmacist by profession.
Nice to meet you, Mercy.
I'm a mother of 2 children. 30-something years old.
Okay, they don't disclose ladies' ages, but okay.
I've had a struggle with weight, I think, since I was maybe in my mid-20s.
Okay, so it's about like 10 plus years.
Yes, exactly. So with every child I've given birth to, the weight has continued to pile up, and the few times I've succeeded in losing it, I've actually failed to maintain and gained more than even before.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So my main problem has been how to sustain
the weight loss. So Dr. Kasenene, how can we help Mercy to achieve this sustained weight loss?
We talked about obstacles like perhaps a thyroid issue or digestive issues. And so we will really look at you as an individual and see what it is that could be holding you back. But the good news is everybody can lose weight. Everybody can achieve their ideal weight as long as they understand their body, as long as they understand what food works best for them, and as long as they can integrate other healthful practices like exercise and getting enough sleep and drinking water.
Okay. And I'm sure, Mercy, you have some questions ready for our expert nutritionist, Dr. Kasenene, who will allow you to ask whichever question. Since you have experienced this problem of losing weight, I'm sure you have some particular questions you have for him.
Okay. My main problem has always been portion control and which foods I should eat and when I should eat.
Okay. I think the main principle should always be that we should eat enough food. Okay? Portion control does not necessarily mean eat little food. Okay. It means eat enough food, but the portion of foods on your plate is what is most important. So we would like to see a plate where you have a large quantity of vegetables, the greens, the eggplants, cabbage, sukuma wiki, spinach, dodo, our local greens, broccoli, cabbage. And then a quarter of your plate, some energy foods, because you do need some energy, like pumpkin, like matoke, like sweet potatoes. And then a little bit of protein-rich foods, especially beans, peas, groundnuts. So what is important is to get the right proportion of foods and not eat less. However, in the initial stages, when you want to lose weight, it's important to give preference to those that are lower in calories, which are more of the legumes and the vegetables. And once you eat the right quality of food, we should stay eating enough, but of course not too much. The best times to eat are really when you're hungry, okay? But I would say we should try and eat 3 meals in a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There is a concept where people should, leave enough room between their dinner and their breakfast.
All right.
And maybe we'll discuss that. But also, especially what foods to eat. You asked that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we can.
People will be interested in the bit. What foods should we eat?
Yes. So there are certain foods we should eliminate, especially in a weight loss journey. The first being sugar. Yes. We have to stop all sugar and all sugary foods. That is soda, packed juices, even fresh fruit juice that has sugar in it. So any drink that has sugar in it, we should eliminate. The second thing is, a bit controversially, dairy products.
We should stop taking
Yes.
dairy products.
If you want to lose weight, initially I recommend you reduce on your dairy consumption because milk is a high-calorie food. If you look at animals, young animals, they grow only on milk. So there is a lot of calories there. So in the weight loss period, we want to reduce dairy products. The third thing we want to reduce are refined carbohydrate foods. And there's 4 of these. The first is foods made from refined wheat. And this is foods like bread, chapati, mandazi, samosa, spaghetti, pizza, cake, biscuits.
Refined wheat.
Refined wheat. Then there is white rice, which is also polished. It's white. Then there is posho, because maize is healthy, but posho is refined. And then there's the refined corn, cornflakes, and all these cereals. So those are things we want to avoid. We also want to temporarily avoid red meat, beef, goat, sheep,
You said temporarily, but
during the weight loss.
You said that it's okay to eat this meat.
Yeah, so when you want to lose weight, if your intention is to get to a good weight, you're going to make a deliberate effort to reduce even certain foods which are ordinarily okay, but which are higher in calories, like the red meat, the beef, goat, sheep, and the pork. Pork is actually red meat. And then you also want to cut out a lot of the oils. There's a lot of oils you want to cut out, sunflower oil, sunseed oil, all these oils which are because people don't realize, but fat has almost 3 times as many calories as carbohydrates. We also want to reduce coffee, and definitely want to cut out alcohol, because alcohol has empty calories. So basically these foods we cut out.
So you've almost cut out all the foods that people are aware of.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm sure she's now curious, so what is she going to eat?
Exactly.
So what you eat, first and foremost, and to a large quantity, we want to eat vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. So we talked about this earlier. 50% of the consumption of the food should be vegetables. And we already mentioned all these, what people call greens, cabbage, cauliflower, 50%.
Like 50% of what?
Of the plate, of the food you consume. So whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 50% should be from that category.
That's like half the plate should have the vegetables.
Then we also want some fruit, okay? But we're not going to eat too much fruit, but we're going to have some fruit, but we're going to eat it whole. We're not going to take it as juice. It's going to be just whole fruit. Apples, bananas, anything, but a small quantity, 2 servings per day. We'll also encourage the consumption of legumes. Legumes are beans, peas, groundnuts, soya, and these kinds of foods. These will be our main source instead of the red meats. We will also encourage whole grains. So we don't want the refined grains, but we can eat some whole grains. So you can have some maize, okay? You can have some millet in small quantities. Remember, we're going to keep the grains to no more than 1/4 of the plate. We can also have some starchy foods like pumpkin, like matoke. But if you're on a program to lose weight, I recommend you should not consume more than 1 fistful per day.
1 fist of what?
Of all the starchy carbohydrates.
Of all the rice,
No, so rice is already out. So like pumpkin, matoke, and things like that.
Okay.
And then we can...
This fistful is the amount you put on the plate?
Yes.
Okay, might looks a little bit. Is that enough for you, Mas? She's not convinced.
No, so it's only... It's the starchy foods that are fistful, but remember there's a lot of vegetables. And there's a lot of legumes, a lot of beans and peas. You see, at the end of the day, satisfaction is about how much you ate, okay? And then, of course, depending on at different points in the program, some animal foods are acceptable, like local chicken and fish. So we're going to focus heavily around these foods, and we're not going to ask you to eat less, but we're going to ask you to eat right. Initially, we will even want to focus on eating these fruits and vegetables uncooked. And initially, when you do that, they're high in antioxidants, and so they help to detoxify the body. And so we also recommend something called a juice fast, where for 2 to 3 days, you're only drinking vegetable and fruit juices. About 2 liters per day to cleanse the body, and you're still getting all the nutrients you need. So it's also great for weight loss. So we structure the program around that. Yeah.
So you mentioned juice, but at some point you said people shouldn't take juice, so it's a bit confusing in there.
Let me clarify that.
Yes.
So when we take juice, first of all, it's going to be 80% vegetable and only a little bit of fruit for flavor. The problem with juice is when you use a lot of fruit. But the second challenge with juice is that sometimes people actually sieve out all the fiber. So if you have fruit juice and you sieve out all the fiber, then you remain with a lot of sugar. But our juices that we recommend are largely vegetable-based, and vegetables have less calories, so they don't spike your sugar. And we only put a little bit of fruit for flavor. So it's mainly a vegetable juice.
Okay, so Mercy will enroll for the weight reduction program under WellCare Clinic. The program is Achieve Your Perfect Weight. So we shall be following up Mercy to see whether she has indeed achieved her perfect weight. Are you excited about this, Mercy?
Very excited.
All right, so shortly after the break, we shall take you to the food studio and do some basic assessments on Mercy to know if she is in the right weight ranges, and over a period of time follow her weight progress to see whether indeed the program works. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.
You are watching the DOCtalk Show.
In a world that never stops, find your balance, your beauty, your radiance. Welcome to Dr. Beauty, the show where beauty is more than skin deep. Join us as we explore the secrets to glowing skin, healthy hair, and the perfect self-care routines. From expert tips on skincare to makeup magic and everything in between. Dr. Beauty will unlock the code and show you how to embrace the beauty that's uniquely yours. Dr. Beauty, only on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
You are watching the DOCtalk Show.
Do you want to lose weight? Dr. Kasenene is going to take us through what his patients go through in his nutrition clinic. So, Dr. Kasenene, what do we have for Madame Mercy?
So to get started, we first want to know where she is right now, her baseline numbers. We are going to use our body composition scale to know her weight, her body fat percentage, and all these other metrics that are important to measure along the journey. So we're going to ask her to first get on the height scale and measure her height.
All right.
Yeah. And so this is 1.58 meters. Okay. So we've established, yes, 1.58 meters. And so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to then measure her weight. So this is the body composition scale, and this is what we use actually to look at your BMI, to look at your body fat, your muscle percentage.
It can measure all that?
Yes,
it's not just a normal weighing scale.
No, it's an advanced body composition scale, and it can also measure 3 other things. It can measure the fat around your belly. Okay. It can measure your metabolic rate, and it can also measure something called your body age. So this scale requires that you input your height and your age, and so we're actually doing that right now. We're also setting her sex, her gender. So this is female, there's male and female, so we are setting for female. And then we're going to set her height, which we measured as 1.58. All right. Okay. And then we are all set. So we're going to ask her to get on the scale, and it will then take us through the measurement.
It's almost like a motorcycle, is it?
So that it can actually measure all the different parameters. And now we are done. So if you look right there, the weight is what is displayed, 108.2 kilograms. The body mass index of 43.3.
What does that mean now?
So that puts her in the category of overweight, or in the obese category, but we are going to try and bring that down. Our target is to get her down to somewhere in the 70s, I hope. So there's also the body fat percentage, which reads 58.3%. And for somebody in Mercy's age, the normal body fat percentage is between about 20 to 35%. And then we also have the muscle. The muscle percentage is 18.3%. And her percentage usually should be anywhere between 25 and 30%. So we want to get the fat percentage down and the muscle percentage up. There is something called visceral fat, which measures the fat around the organs, especially the belly. And this number is 10, and the normal range should be 1 to 9. So we are going to try and get that lower. The metabolic rate, her metabolic rate today is 1,736. That's how much energy her body spends at rest. And lastly, there is something we call the body age. So the body age is a calculation of your risk for health challenges. And today, her body age stands at 71.
Oh my God, is that your age, Mas?
No.
But don't worry about these numbers. These are just the baseline numbers, and they get better very quickly.
So, so this machine is able to measure the BMI. It can measure the fat percentage and estimate the age. This age bit, what does it mean?
So basically, we have a body age, the number of years we've been alive, and but the body age is really an assessment of your risk for health challenges. And if somebody's body age is 70, that means that challenges that you would get at 70, you could possibly get them at your current age. The good news is all these numbers get better very quickly.
So we are in the food studio, and Dr. Kasenene is going to tell Mercy exactly what she should eat in order to lose that excess pounds. I think her target weight, you said, should be around 60, 70. So I want to find out what food she should eat in order to reduce that excessive 20, 30 kilograms.
So generally, when we start off with a program, we want to focus on a high nutrient, low calorie. We want to focus on a lot of vegetables and fruit. And so usually in the first week, we focus on what we call an alkaline diet, which is primarily uncooked, or sometimes what people call raw fruits and veggies.
Alkaline diet?
Yes, alkaline, because our bodies are alkaline and they work best in an alkaline environment. So what we have here in front of us is really some of the foods that we use in the first week. But what we would like to do especially is to demonstrate how to come up with a health juice, a drink that we can use actually to get the body cleansed in the first few days of the program.
Okay, so this healthy juice, what does it comprise? Because we see lots of, I see in the table some fruits, some apples, some veggies.
Many times we use blenders and then we see, but what we want to do in this circumstance is to just use what we have naturally, put it in a NutriBullet, which is a high-power blender that will allow us to come up with a smoothie that will give us all the nutrients to take us on this journey. So we're going to get started, what you would like.
So
how much should I put?
So yeah, we'll just put in more until about a quarter of that. We have some broccoli here. Maybe you can just chop up a little bit, about a half of that. And just chop it into smaller pieces.
Cauliflower work?
Yes, cauliflower can also be suitable. So you just put it inside there. So she's on her journey. This is going to be her first drink, which will get her started. We have a bit of cabbage, it's already, and some other green vegetables. You can just, so we have some carrot as well. So carrots are orange, they have carotenoids, a very important group that's enough. You can just push that down a bit with your fork, yeah? Then you can also get some beetroot. And so you can put as much of beetroot as you want. Some people don't really like the taste of beetroot, so you don't have to put too much. Yeah. But beetroot is very, very good for cleansing the liver. And add the ginger. Yeah, add the ginger as well. So that's some ginger. Then you can just slice an apple and just put a bit of that in there.
Some pineapple as well?
Yes, we're going to throw in some pineapple. The pineapple.
I can help you with the pineapple.
Yeah, so just put in like maybe like 4 of those.
4 pineapples?
Yeah.
Okay. This is quite the healthy fruit.
Yes, and then we have mint leaves, which you can actually just put on top if you would like to add some. And we also have lemon. So depending on what kind of taste you would like to have, lemon can actually add some acidity taste. So it's really up to us. But if you want it to be a little bit sweeter, you can put a bit more pineapple. Okay. However, if you notice, we have about 75% vegetable and only about 25% fruit. You could actually opt not to put the fruit if you're a person who is very comfortable drinking juices that don't have much flavor. So we're going to then add some water. There is a mark, but we've used this quite a bit, so.
So we put it three.
Yes, up to
3/4.
Yes, up to there.
Okay.
And so you just cover it like this, okay? So you cover it, make sure it's firm, and so we're all set. So here we have a mixture of vegetables and fruit that are in their natural state, and so we are going to put them in a NutriBullet, which is a high-power blender. All you do is just turn it over, okay? And then you just press. I hope the power is on. So you keep on pressing. Yes. So you keep pressing, and then you leave it so that they mix, okay? So we've done this for about, let's say about 25 seconds. That's it. We have our smoothie. It's all set. It's a drink. The beauty with the NutriBullet is it's very handy. There's not much you have to do. So all we do is just put that aside. Some people can actually drink straight off this. But what we will do is we will just hand a glass. It is still a bit thick because we didn't continue blending for the full minute. So initially, when you're getting started, we actually
very nutritious, actually.
So what we do is we can, when you get started, if you're doing this at home, you can actually put more pineapple, okay? So that you actually get more of the sweet flavor, ingredients that they feel are most appropriate. Okay. So we have 2 special juices that we have prepared for our clients, and we'll be sharing some of them with you. Okay. We actually usually pack them in this food-grade bag. Okay. It's a biodegradable, BPA-free bag. And so we send these to you so that it's convenient and you can drink them at your convenience.
Why the green things, the spinach, the apples, the broccoli, the carrots? Why those in particular?
Okay, so one of the things you should understand is that green foods are high in chlorophyll. All right. And so they are very good for cleansing the body. But we've been very specific in our choice. Spinach is high in iron. It's high in a specific type of phytonutrient called zeaxanthin, which is very good for cleansing. Broccoli, in particular, together in the family of cauliflower, is high in sulfur compounds called glucosinolates that are very good for cleansing. So each of these has been selected purely on the basis of its ability to support the body to cleanse. But they're also all very low calorie. And so it's a unique combination of fruit and vegetables that are tailored to give you the most optimum result. Okay. Yeah. But what I'll say for other people out there is sometimes we are flexible. If you find that you don't like beetroot, you can substitute that for something else that you find may be important. But every color in fruit and vegetable brings a unique benefit. So the more colors you have, the better it is for your health.
Okay. Are there vegetables you do not encourage people to include?
Not necessarily. That will really depend on your unique health and your unique condition. For example, some people who have digestive discomfort, we may say go slow on the lemon. Right. Sometimes people who also have certain conditions, we may reduce them on the spinach. So it's really on an individual basis, but there isn't any particular harm to mix all the fruit and vegetable as long as it works for you. Yeah.
Okay. And the guarantee is this is a low calorie, so it means someone won't gain weight if they take a drink like this, right?
Yes, I mean, if you drink and eat like this, you're almost guaranteed to be lean and healthy all your life. And because these are really healthy and low-calorie foods.
Awesome. So I want to thank you very much, Dr. Kasenene, for taking us through your food lab of the best foods to eat in order to lose weight and detoxify or reduce those toxins which come from fat cells. So I want to thank you very much, Dr. Kasenene and Ms. Mercy. We wish you the very best in your journey to lose weight. We shall be following you over a period of time to monitor progress to see if indeed taking a Nutri-Fruit like this can help you lose weight. So we'll see you next time on the DOCtalk show. Goodbye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. UBC, inspiring Uganda.